This video depicts real events that took place at Johnson Woolen Mills when a team of highly trained specialists conducted an environmental investigation into every aspect of the company's business practices. The audit team used advanced technology to analyze electricity consumption, heat loss, airflow.
Hold on, wait a minute. That's not at all how it goes. The first thing you should know is that greening up your business is not threatening. It's not about regulations and enforcement. It's about assistance, providing you with the knowledge and resources you need to save money, save energy, and above all, save the environment. Our assessment team has come to Johnson Woolen Mills, which was selected after a statewide search for a business that needed some greening up, and can provide you with some examples that would most likely be helpful to your business. I'm Keresey, Proctor, and you'll be coming with me as we take a look at what it's like to get a green makeover.
It's about your business, real source of pride. Clean it up and watch it grow, just look inside. Change for the better, with the earth in mind. Watch with wide open eyes, the great surprise you'll find. When you green up and tighten up, you'll brighten up feeling fine. Can't help but help the world, and you green up your bottom line.
Let's start at the beginning by learning a little bit more about Johnson Woolen Mills. We'll introduce you to its owner, Stacy Manosh, and find out why she's decided to take a closer look at how much energy her company uses and how her business practices affect the environment.
Actually, the fourth generation owner, our family started making fine woolen outerwear way back in 1842. We manufacture woolen pants, jackets, vests. We ship woolen products all over the world.
Like most businesses, Johnson Woolen Mills grew over a period of time, which means that its buildings and equipment are of different ages and in different states of repair. Stacy also inherited a sense of how to run a business from a long tradition of business practices, some of which started when energy was cheap and we didn't care much about the natural environment.
I'm a little nervous. I hope that we do a good job and they're not too turned off by our old power and old lighting and old windows, but I'm excited that they are going to show me a way to green up my bottom line.
Looks like the Green Makeover team is arriving now. Why don't we go meet them and find out what they really do?
Hey Stacy, I'm Logan Brown from Efficiency Vermont. We work with the ratepayers in Vermont, both residential and business customers, to assist them in reducing their electrical energy consumption.
Hi Stacy, I'm Chad Clyburn. I'm with the Environmental Assistance Office, Vermont Department of Environmental Conservation.
Chad, nice to see you.
My role on the Green Makeover team is to identify environmental opportunities for Johnson Woolen Mills, ways that they can save money.
My name's John Hanel. I work for a company called Foam Tech. I'm here to look at the building envelope, which is the thermal, air, and vapor barrier systems.
Hi, my name's Peter Crawford from the Vermont Small Business Development Center. My organization provides free and confidential business counseling to Vermont businesses, and I run their environmental assistance program. We provide environmental opportunity assessments for businesses to find out what they might do to green up their business and their bottom line. I see Daniel's late again.
And I'm Daniel Hecht, Executive Director of Vermont Environmental Consortium. I'm here to help Stacy learn more about the public agencies and private companies that can help her green up her bottom line. And I'm also here to make sure that Peter doesn't make off with any of the merchandise.
An environmental assessment begins the discussion between the business principals and the technical consultant. It's different for every business depending on what they do, what kind of equipment and facility they have, and what their goals are.
So each of our consultants begins by telling Stacy what services his organization has to offer, how it can help her make decisions about what to do, and what other service or information resources are available.
While we're here, we're going to look at everything that uses electricity, lights, air conditioners, and I'm going to see how we can make you more energy efficient. If we can install better lights or a newer air conditioning unit. But as a business person, I know you're concerned with the bottom line. So before I recommend anything, I'm going to check and make sure it's a cost-effective solution with some economic analysis. Does that sound good?
That sounds good to me.
Great, let's take a look. Throughout the store, I'm seeing you're using a lot of older technology, tubular fluorescent T12 lighting. And one of the recommendations I'm going to make is to switch to new high-performance T8 fluorescent lighting. The older T12s are driven here by a magnetic ballast, and that gives us some of the flicker and the hum that's been associated with fluorescent lighting in the past. The new Super T8s, no flicker, no hum. There's a lot of benefits. They're going to be about 30% more energy efficient than the older T12s.
Let me see here. How does it look?
Looks good.
Really?
Yeah,
Perfect?
good fit.
Good fit?
Yeah,
I like it better just like that. You think like that?
that's all right.
That's okay. Well, how about this? Is this better like that? You want to see a sailing ship?
Lighting improvements can have more benefits besides just energy savings. Johnson Woolen Mills has this great old-fashioned retail space, but the lighting doesn't do justice to the product line. Modern high-efficiency lighting, however, not only uses less energy, it can be brighter and its color tone can be adjusted to make the most of your business space.
Lighting is one of the best, quickest, and cheapest ways for you to start saving on your energy bills. But we shouldn't forget the many other kinds of energy we use because they present many other possible savings for business owners.
Stacy, this is a blower door fan we're going to use to depressurize your building. The reason why that's important is because the normal airflow in a building is cold air comes in low in a building and warm air leaves high in the building. And the infrared camera can't see the warm air as it's going on the way outside. It needs a temperature difference. What we're going to do is take the air and force it outside through this fan, which makes the whole building a low pressure zone. So the cold outside air tries to find every entry path it can through ceilings, through walls, everywhere. So all those cold air entry holes will show up, and then we can see them with the infrared camera. Now that we've created a low pressure area with the blower door fans, you can see where there's some cold air leakage coming in at the top of that wall. The way that looks different from areas where there's just no insulation. Areas where there's no insulation are kind of clearly defined, and it looks like the insulation's been left out. It's just a big dark area.
One of our first jobs today is to go through Johnson Woolen Mills to see what some of Stacy's best options are for changes. Some of them will be easy and inexpensive. Others may be quite expensive. Once we've gotten a list of priority points to determine their cost and their savings, Stacy will tell us which ones to go ahead and fix.
Right. When you get an environmental assessment, you are the one who decides what to do, what not to do, or what to think about for the future. One of the great things about Vermont's many public and private consulting resources is they can help you plan for future improvements even if you can't implement them right away.
My recommendation would be the high performance T8s again, and if I do some calculations based on the count of the fixtures in here, I believe we can expect to save close to 3,600 kilowatt hours a year.
Wow.
What's
Quite a
that
bit of electricity.
translate to in cash?
Peter, in dollars, that translates to about $414 a year in electrical savings.
This one sounds like a good idea.
That sounds like a no-brainer.
All right, we'll check that one off.
Stacy, I take it that's your air conditioner behind the box?
That's one of them. We have 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And that's what we use for air conditioning. We cover them up in the winter, though. That's why you just see the box.
Excellent. Well, I'm glad you're doing that. That helps save a lot of energy in the winter. You're not losing heat through them. But for such a big space, I think we could probably save some energy by going to one single air conditioning system with some ductwork through here to better distribute the cool air in the summer.
Like any other business investment, you should consider the cost of any improvement versus its value. So one of the primary considerations when choosing to install energy-efficient technologies is the cost recovery period.
Good point. And cost recovery can vary widely for green technologies. Some, like high-efficiency lighting or more insulation in your roof, can pay back within years or even months. Your best bet is to consult with an environmental professional who can help you look at the economics of your investment.
Let's take a look at your task lighting here. You've got incandescent bulb over the machine, and this is running about 250 foot candles. Let's see what a compact fluorescent would do. This would reduce the energy use by 2/3.
That's great, but we have to make sure that this area is incredibly well lit because they need to see what's going on.
Of course, that's the most important, but let's give it a shot and see
Okay.
what we come up with.
All right.
Whoa. It's now as bright as the other one. So this actually will give you the same amount of light. It just takes about a minute to warm up.
Okay, Stacy, I'm going to go upstairs and check out the attic. I'm interested to see what kind of insulation is up there, how much is up there, and maybe how old it is. I'm really looking for some opportunities to add some insulation to this property. So I'm going to head up the ladder.
Okay.
Good luck.
So what do you think?
Well, there's some good news. There's about 8 inches of cellulose insulation there now, and it's doing a good job, but I think that we could cost effectively double the amount of cellulose insulation up there.
Double.
Double it, yep. Help save you some heating costs in the winter and cooling in the summer.
We're here in the staff kitchen taking a break while the team is continuing in the other room. But Daniel just discovered yet another electricity guzzler.
It's true. Logan was telling me that soft drink machines can be a huge consumer of electricity because they keep the drinks very cold and they're very badly insulated. But fortunately, there's a pretty simple solution. It's a little device you can buy called Vending Miser, and what it does is it turns the machine on only when somebody's in the room, and the rest of the time it cycles through a very slow cooling process, using a lot less electricity.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah.
And there's other solutions too, and some of them actually might surprise you. Some companies have actually replaced their soft drink machines with high-efficiency refrigerators. They can actually give the soft drinks to their employees and still save money.
You know, it occurs to me we should probably go join the team and see what they're up to.
That's a good idea. Yeah. Now, you've got to give Stacy and Manosh a lot of credit. It isn't easy opening up your place of business to a bunch of strangers. She's even agreed to let us poke around in the basement of this old place. Who knows what we'll find down there?
Oh, well, it's an old building, and I hope you're not faint of heart, afraid of ghosts or any other thing. Stephen King could use this as a prop to film a horror movie because it's an old basement. So come on down.
Now here's something every business has. Fluorescent light bulbs. These all contain mercury, and there's no way that you can dispose of them in the trash. That's against the law. They have to be properly recycled. And one option for that is to use the free recycling that's available through 40 Vermont True Value and Ace Hardware stores. You can find out information on the store nearest you at mercvt.org. And they really need to be stored properly in boxes and labeled so that they won't break.
Not hanging out like this.
Yeah, I got it.
Stacy, the reason I'm down here in the basement is because the typical flow of heat in a building is cold air comes in low and warm air leaves high. So that's through the chimney effect, a lot of air moves through your building. So anything that we can do either down low in a building or up high in a building will give us the best return in terms of energy efficiency. What I found is a damp and cold crawl space. Most of the foundation is covered with insulation, but the rim joist area just above that is sort of disconnected from the insulation down on the foundation. So that's an area that you don't have thermal protection or a consistent air barrier.
Ah, look here. A lot of the things that we find on basement shelves are potentially hazardous, and they need to be disposed of properly when they're unwanted or no longer usable.
Well, let's see. We got motor oil, weed killer, insecticide, spray paint, latex paint, solvents.
Ink from 300 years ago. So clearly there's probably some of the stuff that's still usable. So what Stacy should do is go through this, figure out what she wants to keep, and the stuff that is no longer usable and she wants to get rid of could be managed through the solid waste district's household hazardous waste collection events.
A lot of things down here in the basement that we found that she can do. See, this is definitely an older boiler. We looked at the numbers and it's not going to be cost effective for Stacy to buy a new one. And she's doing the right thing, getting it cleaned and tuned every year and keeping it in good operating condition.
Replacing a major piece of equipment can be a big investment, but as energy prices rise, so will the value of an efficient heating system. And by knowing about her options, Stacy can consider them for the future.
Obviously, every piece of equipment has a duty life, and the very best time for business owners to consider alternatives that are environmentally friendly and energy efficient is when a furnace, air conditioning, refrigeration, or other major technology needs to be replaced.
After visiting the basement, our team wanted to look at the shipping area and how Johnson Woolen Mills deals with materials left over after shipping and receiving. This is yet another place where creative solutions can help reduce environmental impact and create real cash savings.
Looks like you've got a lot of cardboard here.
We have a lot of cardboard here, but we recycle a lot of it too. The boxes are broken down and used as box protectors. We also use every single bit of our wall. And the little pieces that we can't make anything out of are sold as clips.
One opportunity for your waste would be to talk to your solid waste district and perhaps your waste hauler. They might be able to come up with some ideas on how to reduce your waste.
Another great resource in the state is the Vermont Business Material Exchange, and basically it's a website that you can list things that you don't want anymore, and businesses frequently go onto it and find things that they want. So, one man's waste is another man's treasure.
Is there a charge for that?
No, it's free.
More and more we need to think of waste as a resource that has value. There are some surprising ways you can recover this resource or reduce the amount of waste you discard. This will save you money on hauling fees and could even make you money. We'll show you some examples in a few minutes. Well, that's about it for the first walkthrough. Each of our team's organizations offers a more comprehensive analysis on heat loss, air movement, energy loads, lighting design, and options for replacing equipment. But for now, they've given Stacy some great ideas on how to green up her business. They'll go back and do their homework on the recommendations and cost analysis. Plus, there's some more things you can learn on greening up your business, and some surprising ways to save money. I'm going to go and recycle these, and then we'll move on to some actual retrofits and repairs. Plus, we'll visit some businesses that have already implemented greening up measures.
I was so surprised with the team's findings. I had no idea that there were so many great organizations out there with great technologies. Logan from Efficiency Vermont showed us how to save $6,000 a year on our lighting. It was absolutely wonderful. It was a great team to work with. I learned a lot, and I'm really thrilled.
Rachel, I could spend all day in this place if I only had the time. It's beautiful. Must be fun to work here.
Oh, yes.
I see you've been doing some renovation. The place has changed.
Yeah,
since the last
they're
time.
going through with the lighting and making it more efficient.
Well, if you'll ring me up there, I got to get back to work.
After her assessment, Stacy had a long list of improvements to choose from. She took a look at her cash flow and decided it didn't justify a new air conditioner or a new furnace right now. But what she did learn is that a little money can go a long way if targeted effectively.
That's an excellent point. So maybe while Marcel and Mike are busy down here, we could go upstairs and see what other suggestions the team has for Stacy about how to improve her business practices.
Green purchasing is all about asking the right questions to your suppliers. You could, for example, ask if paper products or plastic products came with post-consumer recycled content. just seeing the logo, the recycling logo on a product, doesn't really tell you anything unless it tells you the exact post-consumer percent, because that's the stuff that we actually take the time to recycle. Copy paper, trash bags, toilet paper, things like that that could have post-consumer content. Do you purchase any of these products?
I really honestly don't know.
Well, I just happened to find this in your bathroom. It is 20% post-consumer recycled content paper, and the reason I know that is because it's green seal certified and they have standards
Good job.
for this.
Really? I didn't even know.
That's not bad.
If you do a brochure, you could ask the printer to use 100% post-consumer content paper. We did our brochure on it. Give that to you.
Okay. Well, this is nice heavy paper.
And that leads us to the Vermont Business Environmental Partnership. We'd like to have you as a member, and we want to tell you a little bit about it. This is a free technical assistance and recognition program for Vermont businesses. We identify opportunities for businesses to green up their business and hopefully their bottom line. Wouldn't that be nice?
That's important.
With, an opportunity assessment on the site, a lot like we're doing today.
Vermont Business Environmental Partnership can help you locate green products and services and keep you updated on new incentives and technologies. They offer regular workshops on specific environmental topics, and they'll even help you through permitting issues when you expand or renovate.
During their first walkthrough, the team recommended making some repairs to Stacy's basement. Insulating and resealing exterior doors, double glazing windows, patching foundation cracks, and capping unused furnace vents are inexpensive fixes that can really cut heating costs.
This is a major heat loss. If you have insulation anywhere, any kind of insulation that will stop the flow of heat loss and slow down the cold air infiltration, that's at least something. You might just as well be outside, basically.
Well, it looks like they're making great progress here. I know the Foam Tech crew will be here soon. Maybe it's time we took a moment to go visit some other businesses that have implemented environmentally friendly and cost-saving solutions.
We started in 1,500 square feet, and we probably have about 75,000 square feet now. When I decided to purchase this building down the street, 444 Pine, there was a great opportunity to renovate a building and make it green.
The lighting is phenomenally efficient. The fixtures themselves are what are called T5 high bays, and T5 is a fluorescent technology that's it's the next generation, it's the next best thing that's coming on. You get a whole lot of light for not a whole lot of wattage. But he even went further than that. There's areas where the staff needs to go back into these racks, grab their stuff, and then they come back to the assembly areas. So there's no need to have all of the aisles lit all the time. So every one of these lighting fixtures is controlled by an occupancy sensor, and once you step into the zone, it'll pick you up, but it won't do the whole aisle. It'll just do as far as you go. You get your product, you come back, and then the light will cycle back out. The light fixtures that are up around the skylights, that's a daylight harvesting control system, and basically it's measuring the amount of daylight. If enough ambient light comes in, it will shut out the lights around the skylights, which again, saves a bunch of energy. It also saves on maintenance costs. Our best advice for folks is to save energy. If you don't need it on, don't have it on.
Efficiency improvements now save Lake Champlain Chocolates $36,000 a year in energy bills. But Jim Lampman also implemented a number of other green innovations.
This heat recovery unit recaptures warmth from the ventilation system and retains it inside the building. Jim also installed double flush toilets and low-flow on-demand faucets that conserve water. Even the debris left over from renovation was put to good use.
Construction waste management is a big concern. A lot of stuff ends up in landfills on projects like this, and over 50% of what would have gone into a landfill is either reused in the building or got recycled and is being used other places.
I definitely would recommend it, and it was a great opportunity for us because we had to expand, and I'd be really knocking myself if I didn't do it. My good friend Ted over at Rhino Foods, who kind of, seen probably too many warehouses, picked out that one, and he said, I never knew you could save enough to save energy the equivalent of 33 homes in Burlington, Vermont. That's so cool, you know?
While Jim and Keresey were talking, an unexpected visitor dropped by to say hello and to share a few words on the topic.
I remember hearing from my grandparents here in Vermont, a penny saved is a penny earned. I know the kind of steps that they took to conserve energy. I know what my parents did in their small business in Montpelier, all the things that they did as I was growing up to conserve energy. It really makes sense. Ultimately, at the end of the year, if you save that energy, if you save that money, that's money in your pocket, not in somebody else's.
Well, they're making great progress up here. I have to admit it's going a little faster than I expected. Now, I just heard that the insulation crew has arrived. I think we should go take a look. This should be interesting.
New forms of insulation are highly effective and can be applied in places where traditional kinds won't work. Sprayed-on foam insulation not only has high R values, it serves as a superior weather barrier, so it's perfect for retrofits like this. It's also used in state-of-the-art, super-efficient new buildings.
When we trigger the gun, the chemicals come through two separate lines all the way to the gun, and they mix right at the very tip of the gun. When they mix, they instantly start to react, and the foam gets sprayed out the end of the gun, and it sets up within about 7 seconds.
High-tech insulation is just one of the new materials and technologies architects are using to design greener buildings. Let's take a look at some of the innovations implemented by one small firm in Wilmington.
We're a 6-person architectural firm. We basically focus on doing very creative and, I would say, sustainable green. That's our main thing. We try to take the green part of it and not just make it like a box that's green, but actually is a wonderful place to work. And we kind of moved into this old farmhouse from 1860s, and in engravings, it was one of the first buildings on the whole hillside. We needed to basically dismantle everything. We did it very carefully, and then reuse the materials, and that's what drives a lot of the aesthetic, the use of the natural wood. These were there. These are real structural members. We use them as trim. We use them as fascias. We use them as crowns. Really just memorializing in some way what was here.
Anything that we do here has to make economic sense, otherwise we don't stay in business, and it doesn't matter how sustainable we are, how green we are. If we're not making money, we can't do what it is we want to do.
This is a hardwood floor. The fact that it's a rubber tree hardwood that is wonderfully sustainable, that every 20 years they burn these rubber trees and now they're using them as hardwood flooring. Well, heck yeah. I'm holding in my hand these amazing materials. These are stay-in-place wall forms. They stack like Lego blocks. You build up your wall to a whole story, and you pour concrete in the middle. And this is, this is a piece with the concrete in it. This concrete acts as a thermal mass. So that means that when it's heated up, warmed up, or cooled down in the summer, it takes a long time for it to change temperature. I'm building this studio. I want to show the best technologies available. There's this new product that just came out that actually takes the boiler that you're heating your water, radiant heat, with, and actually puts a loop on up that becomes the domestic hot water. In one compact unit, I've got my boiler and my domestic hot water heater, and it's energy efficient.
On the products that we decided to use for this building, we wanted to be as non-toxic as possible. And Joseph found this BioShield products, which was great. He could do, there's this color, and there's this color, and there's this color.
I got turned on to this other product called dyed concrete. And you're seeing concrete being used a lot now as for countertops and other types of things. Dye is brushed in afterwards, after the concrete had set.
Well, we go away for 2 days and come back to this absolute masterpiece.
We actually explored that and found out that we were able to do the whole floor for $500 in materials. Amazing. We wanted to live the walk. We wanted to say, hey, we're really doing it, and it works.
Well, Green Mountain Coffee Roasters is an importer of about 30 different varieties of green beans from around the world. Initially, most of our environmental initiatives came from the employees, and they would just kind of gut things that people felt it was the right thing to do. Almost everything you'll see us doing right now I could choose to explain to you from an environmental standpoint, but I'd be just as comfortable to explain it to you from an operational standpoint on why it's good business practice. We've relamped the entire plant with T5 high output fluorescence. We see a 1.1 year payback. So every year we get $18,000 back in savings.
Green Mountain Coffee Roasters is a packaging intensive business, so they gave a lot of thought to their waste stream. After talking with their waste hauler and waste management district, they discovered they could save money in hauling fees and even earn cash by baling their used shrink wrap and cardboard and reselling it. And they found even more profitable ways to dispose of used boxes.
Well, it turns out there are companies like Walmart that import a lot of stuff from China. And when it gets to the States, it has to get broken down and reshipped. So here's the perfect use. A cardboard box doesn't have to run back through the mill, doesn't have to get pulped and made into cardboard again. We just reuse it as the box that it is. We put all the cardboard on a tractor trailer, and every time that tractor trailer pulls away from the dock, they pay us $1,000.
Another creative solution is to turn waste cardboard into protective wrapping for products to be shipped. This simple process saves the cost of buying padding, plus it conserves our forests.
Drakkar Solar Design is a company that sells complete monitoring solutions for the renewable energy industry. We sell both hardware and software so people can understand exactly how well the renewable energy system is performing. We use all energy efficient appliances, including our computers and servers. We generate electricity because sometimes, no matter how efficient you are, you use electricity. We make sure that we compost, we do what we can to minimize our waste through recycling, and we make sure that we purchase recycled products. We went to Recycle North, were able to find some beautiful Douglas fir that we're able to mill down and make the trim. And then to do all the coatings in the building, we use low VOC components, or low VOC finishes, including wood finish, floor finish, paint, to minimize the amount of emissions.
AJ decided that making major improvements to his building envelope would be worth the investment. Drakkar Solar installed R40 insulation in the walls and R60 in the roof, cutting heat loss dramatically. For a highly effective and relatively inexpensive improvement, these quilted window blinds are great for keeping cold air out while still letting plenty of light inside.
While AJ and Keresey were talking, a neighbor came over to learn more about what Drakkar Solar has been doing and to tell us his thoughts on energy and the environment.
Basically what we've done here is allowed ourselves to understand how the building is performing. This is a green building, it's got a lot of innovative technologies in it, and we want to see what exactly are those technologies doing for us. With the passive solar coming in today, we haven't had to use anything to heat for pretty much the last 18 hours.
You're generating more electricity than you're consuming.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
I should think that businesses who are worried about the cost of electricity and fuel in general might be interested to know about how they could pay zero for a suite of rooms. That's a pretty good electric price, right?
Yeah.
I'd like to know how to do that. What AJ is doing in this suite of offices right now at this particular moment is making money. He is producing more energy than he is consuming. Now that, from a business perspective, makes a lot of sense. I think you're going to see more and more intelligent small business people looking at sustainable energy where they know what the cost will be over a period of time. Cost of sunlight ain't going to be changing too much in the next 20 years. Cost of oil and gas is going to be going up. So I think intelligent business people who are looking at the bottom line economically, who want a stable cost for their fuel, will be looking at sustainable energy, whether it's solar, whether it's wind, whether it's hydrogen, whatever it may be.
Well, one more little fix and then we're about done, at least for now. Stacy's done some relatively inexpensive retrofits and repairs, and she's already saving money and helping the environment. Even though she hasn't done everything on the list, at least now she knows what she can do when the time is right.
I'm about ready for that Vending Miser. You want to hand it to me? And that's it. And that'll save her about $150 a year.
This has been an absolute great experience for Johnson Willem Mills. I have learned so much. It's been wonderful. I went down in the basement yesterday. It's already warmer. The new lighting is fantastic. It's bright. I can feel us saving money already. The crew was super to work with. Logan, Chad, we learned so much. I really learned.
Come on, Stacy, the crew is waiting for us in the kitchen for some champagne.
That sounds great, Rach. Thanks.
It's about your business, real source of pride. Clean it up and watch it grow. Just look inside. Change for the better with the earth in mind. Watch with wide open eyes the great surprise you'll find. When you green up and tighten up, you'll brighten up feeling fine. Can't help but help the world and you'll green up your bottom line. Find the holes and plug them, re-insulate. Upgrade your heat and lights, don't hesitate. Earth-friendly factories and companies too. Save cash in the planet, that's the thing to do. When you green up and tighten up, you'll brighten up feeling fine. Can't help but help the world and you'll green up your bottom line. When you green up...
I like the color, but one of them sleeves is just too short. What can you do about it? Oh, well, there you go. Now, there you go. All right, that looks good.
So we just sort of like this, talking, or how? How do you want us?
You want a candy bar to put in your mouth? Or?
Yeah, like that.
Hang on. Yeah, go ahead. We're between sound bites. You can both take your pictures.
Sound bites? I thought these were brilliant expositions here.
Well.
Green up and tighten up, you'll brighten up feeling fine. Can't help but help the world and you green up your bottom line. Green up and tighten up,
I'm too giggly.
Well, if you'll ring me up, I'd appreciate it, because I got to get back to work. That wasn't very peppy. Let's do that again.
Yeah. An environmental audit begins with a discussion between the technical
Do you have these in red and white? Because I play Santa on Christmas Eve.
Well, we're doing gray.
By the way, where do you live? I'll come by your house this Christmas Eve. I'll be Santa. You have it in gray?
I can't help but help the world and green up your bottom line. When you green up and tighten up, you'll brighten up feeling fine. Can't help but help the world and green up your bottom line. When you green up and tighten up, you'll brighten up feeling fine. Can't help but help the world and green up your bottom line. When you green up and tighten up, you'll brighten up feeling fine. Can't help but help the world and green up your bottom line.